When I married Angela, I thought I had found my forever person. We were college sweethearts, each other's first real loves. She was bright, charismatic, and had this way of making even the most mundane moments feel extraordinary. We married young, maybe too young, but at the time, it felt like we were just getting a head start on building a beautiful life together. Fast forward 10 years, and we had a modest but warm home, a dog that shed way too much, and our son, Caleb, who, at 8 years old, had somehow inherited all of his mother's charm and none of my awkwardness. Angela taught piano from home part-time, while I managed a local logistics team, pulling long shifts but doing my best to be present. I thought we were good. I truly did. Looking back now, I realize I had been ignoring the signs. Our conversations had grown more transactional. Did you pick up milk? Don't forget Caleb's soccer gear. Our intimacy had shifted, not vanished completely, but changed. There were more excuses, more, "I'm tired," and "let's not rush." But marriage isn't all fireworks, right? That's what I kept telling myself. Angela had always been the one to attend Caleb's school events. With my work hours, it was just more practical. But this time, his teacher specifically requested that both parents be present. Something about Caleb seeming distracted in class, and they wanted to better understand his home environment. So, I took the afternoon off. The school was the same one I had gone to as a kid, faded murals on the walls, the faint smell of dry erase markers and cafeteria food. Caleb's teacher, Mr. Reynolds, greeted us at the door with a firm handshake and a smile that seemed just a bit too polished. He was one of those guys who looked like he stepped out of a lifestyle magazine, clean-cut, fit, confident in that effortless way that instantly made me feel 10 years older. He spoke to us kindly, but I could see how his eyes lingered on Angela, how their conversation flowed effortlessly when it was just the two of them responding to each other. I told myself I was imagining things, that I was being paranoid, that maybe I was just a bit jealous of their intellectual chemistry. Mr. Reynolds spoke about Caleb's grades and his behavior, but I could barely concentrate. The entire room felt off. There was this tension, no, a familiarity, between them. Angela's laugh was softer, her body angled toward him just slightly. And when he mentioned a book Caleb had brought to school that wasn't on the reading list, Angela blushed. Blushed? The conference ended without incident, at least to an outsider. We shook hands, and I noticed how Angela hesitated just half a beat longer when letting go of Mr. Reynolds' hand. I ignored it. I had to. But that evening, as Caleb watched TV and Angela was in the kitchen, her phone buzzed. Nothing unusual, except it was a message from someone saved as R. Just the letter. I had never been the type to snoop. I trusted her. But that feeling, the same one I'd had in the classroom, gnawed at me. She stepped away for a moment, and curiosity took over. I opened the message. It was short. Still thinking about earlier. Same time next week. The breath left my lungs. It felt like my chest collapsed in on itself. I could barely process the words before Angela walked back into the room, smiling as if nothing had just unraveled. I didn't say anything. Not yet. I needed to be sure. That night, I barely slept. I lay next to the woman I had built my life with, wondering if any of it had ever been real. The next few days were a blur of practiced normalcy. Breakfast routines, homework checks, small talk over dinner. But I wasn't really there. I was spiraling behind the mask of a calm father and husband, questioning everything. I didn't confront her, not yet. I needed something more. Something undeniable. So I took a day off. Told Angela I had a big shipment to oversee, left in my work clothes, and doubled back around the block. I parked where I could see the school but not be seen, watching for anything unusual. That's when I saw it. Her car. Parked in the lot in the middle of the day when she had told me she had no errands. She wasn't walking toward the main office or dropping something off. She went through a side entrance near the classrooms, the one usually locked to parents. A few minutes later, I saw Mr. Reynolds, clipboard in hand, casual as you please, walk toward the same door. He looked both ways, then slipped inside. My mouth went dry. Every suspicion, every gut instinct I had tried to silence suddenly screamed in my ears. I didn't wait long. 30 minutes later, she came out. Her hair was tousled, her walk slower, like she was floating in that same dreamy daze I had seen on her face after our early dates. She didn't see me. She drove home. And I just sat there, unable to move. I didn't follow her. I didn't storm the building or confront him in a rage. I just drove aimlessly for hours. That night, I pretended like everything was normal again. Because it had to be. At least until I figured out what came next. It wasn't just betrayal. It was who she chose, how she chose to do it. A parent-teacher conference of all things. In the very building where our son was trying to learn and grow. The place where we were supposed to be partners, figuring out how to support our child. And she turned it into a backdrop for an affair. Eventually, I did confront her. I chose a Saturday morning when Caleb was at a sleepover. I had printed the messages. Yes, I checked more after that day. I had the photo I took of her walking into the building, the timestamp circled. I laid it all on the kitchen table. She walked in, eyes still puffy from sleep, and stopped cold. Her face drained of color. I didn't scream. I didn't accuse. I just asked, "Why?" Angela didn't deny it. She didn't cry either. She just sighed, like someone putting down a weight she'd been carrying. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she said. "I felt invisible, like I was just a mom, just a wife. And he made me feel seen again." The word stung more than I expected. I had poured myself into our family. I thought being steady, dependable, and kind was enough. I thought those were the things that built a marriage. But somewhere along the way, those very qualities had made her feel unseen. "I should have told you," she continued. "But I didn't know how. You're such a good man. I didn't want to hurt you." "But you did," I said quietly. "You didn't just hurt me. You compromised everything we built. Everything Caleb trusts." She nodded. Tears finally came. But they weren't for me. They were for herself. Her guilt. Her loss. We agreed to separate the following week. I told her I wasn't sure what would happen long term, but I needed space to think. To grieve. Caleb didn't understand at first. We told him in the gentlest terms we could, but nothing prepares a child for the sound of their world cracking. That was 3 months ago. Now, the house feels bigger and emptier. I sleep on one side of the bed and wake up reaching for someone who's not there. But there's a strange peace in the silence. A clarity I hadn't had in years. Angela moved in with her sister. Mr. Reynolds, as far as I know, is still teaching, though I've made it clear he's never to be anywhere near my son again. Caleb is adjusting slowly. Kids are resilient that way. As for me, I'm learning that heartbreak doesn't always come with fireworks. Sometimes it arrives in a quiet room during a conference meant for your child, wearing a polite smile and shaking your hand. Sometimes it wears the face of the woman you love more than anything in the world. And sometimes the end doesn't look like a storm. It looks like a conversation, a hesitation, a message from R. And that's all it takes to unravel everything.